I'm delighted to be here and support the excellent work that Cornerstone is doing. I firmly believe that maths needs to be a universal skill. It should not be something that is a minority pursuit. Everybody needs to be able to understand the underlying structure of the modern world, which maths provides. And I think as a country, we need to raise our expectations. We need to have an atmosphere and a belief that all children are capable of achieving in mathematics, of having a positive, confident attitude towards mathematics. And certainly that's what the most successful countries in studies like PISA managed to do, is they managed to get every single child up to that level in maths. Of course, there is a huge demand for mathematics. We can see that simply in the earnings premium you get for being mathematically qualified, whether it's at age 10, age 16 or age 18, competence in maths leads to the highest earnings in the marketplace. And what I think is very interesting is that although there is a premium for studying maths right across the world because it's such an important subject, the premium is actually higher here in England. And the reason it's higher is we do have a shortage of people with those skills. And I don't think we've always had sufficient recognition of how vitally important mathematics is. When I met him recently, Andreas Schleicher of the OECD said he believed maths was the best protection against unemployment. And I really feel that we need to get the message across to the next generation that if they are to have secure, sustainable employment, then really succeeding in maths is extremely important. That's really why I applaud what you do at Cornerstone and the way you are inspiring young people to love maths and be excited by maths. And I tell you, the job isn't entirely done on the taxi journey here. I told the taxi driver that I was about to make a speech about maths, and he groaned. And I said, how can you say that? It's the most exciting subject. You know, it is the basis of everything we do in the world. And I think there's quite a lot of convincing to be done. And I'm very pleased that Celia and others are part of that convincing. But the Cornerstone programme has a strong evidence base from the US. There's a focus on understanding key concepts. And I think both fluency in doing mathematics and understanding the key concepts are both vital skills that we need. I also like the way it links an online programme with professional development for teachers. I think that online can achieve a lot, but we also need that strong professional expertise. And one of the things the government has just done is increase the level of bursaries for mathematics because we want more people to enter the profession. And I also congratulate the work of SRI International, the London Knowledge Lab, the Institute of Education, and the Li Ka-shing Foundation supporting this programme without any help from the government and doing this great work. Because we do need to make progress in this subject. We had recently the rather depressing results from the OECD PIAC study of adult skills that showed that sadly our young people were near the bottom of the table for numeracy. We had the Nuffield report, which showed that we had the smallest proportion of 16 to 18-year-olds studying maths in the OECD. And we had the TIMSS report that showed that we were 39th out of 42 for the number of teaching hours we spend on maths in secondary school. And this is why we are making changes. We're working with professional mathematicians, we're working with teachers to make changes so that we have high expectations of all of our students. So in terms of the national curriculum, the focus at primary is very much on making sure that students have grasped the basic in arithmetic, where we're relatively weak in TIMSS, and key concepts like fractions. At secondary school, we've just launched the new Maths GCSE. And one of the things that maths for the first time will be double weighted in the accountability tables. So it has the same weight as English and science for the first time. And I think that's a very important signal to schools in saying, actually, we do want you to spend more hours teaching mathematics. We want you to be up to the level of, let's say, Australia or the US or China in the number of hours you're spending teaching maths. And we also are very clear that in the GCSE, we want to make sure that students have understood the key concepts like ratios, like proportions, like algebra. So there's going to be thorough examination on the Key Stage 3 material as well as the Key Stage 4 material, which I think when we had a single GCSE that didn't have the weight it's now got, we didn't necessarily get. So there is more content. Ofqual have accepted the principle that it is a bigger and larger GCSE than other GCSEs, so it will be double counted in the performance tables, and I'm pleased about that. Finally, we are working on post-16 maths. We've always had a problem that for those students who didn't get a grade C at GCSE, we're now suggesting that they continue with maths until 18. And for those students who want to do A-level maths, there's been a course available. But the students in the middle, there hasn't been a good qualification for those students to do. And it's roughly 40% of students who get a C at GCSE but don't want to carry on doing A-level. And that's why we've developed new core maths qualifications, which are going to be in place from 2015. One of those qualifications is the IB Maths Studies, and that will be available online and available not just from IB schools, but also from other schools. We've also got Tim Gowers and MEI working on a new qualification focused on problem solving, answering questions like, how does a Mexican wave start? Or how can you measure the volume of somebody's head? Those types of questions that all occur to us in the bath, and we look for answers, and I think will be very exciting for students. We're also looking for more focus on probability and statistics and understanding of risk as well in those qualifications. And the government's spending 20 million in 2014 to 2016 to help schools and colleges prepare for the new core maths qualifications. And there will be a measure in the performance tables at 18 of the proportion of students at that school who've got a C in maths and carry on studying the subject, because we want to send a really clear signal that we think virtually all students should be studying maths to 18. We think that's necessary and vital for their future careers and their future jobs. And one exciting thing about the core maths qualification is it will also be part of the high-quality technical baccalaureate for vocational students. So that qualification will be core to all students. I'm delighted that we've got organisations like Cornerstone helping us in the work we're doing and the progress we're making. Cornerstone Maths is a very important initiative which makes a valuable contribution to driving, I think, our country's love of maths and the next generation's success. Thank you very much.